Welcome to NRL 80 Draft Show. I'm your host, David Suka, and with me always is the big Sam Nader. Tonight, we're going to speak about a few things, but before we do that, I got the one and only Mr. Barbarian. How you going?
Good, David. Thanks for having me again. Pleasure to be back.
No, always good to have you back, and always the one and only. And who needs Paul Kent when you got this guy, Anthony Georges? How you going, man?
Not too bad, David. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Always pleasure having you, man. Always a pleasure having you. Sammy, we got a fair few things to go through
It's
today.
an exciting show today.
100%. Look, we're going to start off with a bit of a recap. We're going to talk about what happened last week, a bit of highlights. Look, we're going to start off with obviously the biggest highlight of the week, Roosters Melbourne Storm.
That was a beautiful game, David.
Cracker.
Beautiful.
Absolute cracker. I haven't seen a game like that in a very, very long time.
Very hard to pick too.
Anth?
Unbelievable game. Honestly, from minute 1 to 80, it was a great game from both sides. Got to credit the Roosters' defence all game, especially at the end. I think Melbourne were on their line for the last 10 minutes and they did not give up.
No, that was strong. That was strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Methodical game. Very tough, very rough, lots of drama. Absolute dogfight.
It was. But look, let's talk about the dogfight for a second. And let's talk about the do's and the don'ts.
Since we're talking about dogs, let's start with Jared Warrior-Hargreaves.
No.
I cannot stand that guy.
Yeah.
He's the biggest grub in the NRL, and I just can't stand him.
Look, I can counter with that with Nelson for no. No, but I can counter with that as well. And I've seen a couple of things, and I know we've mentioned it before about the Melbourne Storm and the way they're doing their thing and getting the whole fucking arm in the face and shit like that. That's not on.
They're
them.
always the ones that come out with these little wrestling tactics.
Little niggly things, but it hurts people. Sam Walker didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Okay, as well as who did Nelson cop? Who did he hit Nelson?
I think Victor Radley.
Victor Radley as well. And
But you know what? Victor Radley came out and even said, "This is our job. Our job is to hurt him and niggle him and even Jared Warrior-Hargreaves."
100%.
Yeah,
But look,
well, I agree. But in saying that, I absolutely love it. You know, it makes the game entertaining. Sport is entertainment. And I actually don't mind the grabbiness. I don't mind the drama. You know, you're always sort of on your feet when it's all happening. And yeah, I enjoy it.
Get too excited a bit, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Barbs?
Yeah, I agree as well. I think, look, there's that's part of the game that's gone out the window over the past couple of years. So when we see it, it's great, it's refreshing. And at the end of the day, if they step over the line, then you know they're punished for it. So that's their problem to deal with.
But look, it was mentioned before as well. Nelson himself, okay, he's been charged how many times already? All right,
Not as many as Warrior-Hargreaves.
understand that, but $1,000 fine for what he did, doesn't that warrant a week off? I don't get it. Like I'm on the twilight zone here.
So.
I don't get it.
They're trying to change the rules now. They're trying to say if there's repeat minor infringements, they're going to go down the path of actually suspending them for a week and whatnot.
Well, they should. They should.
Well, let's move on with this one. Just quickly, are we talking about Joey Manu in the top 10 NRL players? Or
Yeah, 100%.
what a blinder of a game he had.
Oh, unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
we all agree he's probably in the top 10.
I think so.
150%.
I think so.
Unbelievable
I'll
player.
say something for him being. I know he's listed as a centre before the game starts, but he's definitely not a centre. He's
definitely not.
on the right. He's on the left. He's supporting like Tedesco or any other fullback would normally support. The amount of runs he takes, the amount of tackle busts, the amount of meters he makes, it's unheard of for a centre.
165 metres
Yeah.
for a centre.
Yeah, well, Roosters have won 7 on the trot. He's definitely part of that success. Yeah, like Anthony said, he can play anywhere. So
I like him. He's a good boy. Good boy. Raiders annihilating Manly.
I think we expected that, didn't we? We spoke about it last week and we thought they're fighting for something.
You reckon Ricky Raiders are gonna go all the way?
I don't think they'll make it past the first week, to be honest. But
But they'll make the 8.
on that topic as well, which I found very emotional, did you see Nickel Klokstad after the game? He bawled his eyes out crying, knowing it was the last game he's playing at Canberra Raiders Stadium,
Oh well.
which was beautiful.
Unfortunate. It's unfortunate for him, I think. You know,
it is.
coming in, he had a great season or season and a half before he got that neck injury. I think it was last year. Just shows the the passion he had because he wasn't getting a start anyway. The Raiders threw him a lifeline, and then he played out of his skin. It's unfortunate that Savage is.
Didn't he come from the Warriors?
Yeah.
And the Warriors now want him back.
Yeah.
That's a good story too.
Couldn't crack it. I think it was Tuvasa Sheck that was playing in front of him before he couldn't get a crack. Warriors gave him a chance, and then the rest is history.
I think the real reason he was crying is because he's going back to the Warriors.
Yeah, I was good.
I think his career will start going downhill.
That's
Unfortunately,
beautiful.
probably end up in Union.
Yeah, he's a great player. But
Look, some of the other games that we had during the week, Parramatta Eels defeated the Broncos 53-6. That was a close one.
that was sorry, Dave, that was a crucial game for the
It
Broncos.
was. It was.
That was
They lost,
crucial.
they lost Adam Reynolds in the first 5 minutes of the game, Sam. But again, in saying that, does he make that much of a difference that you get?
Clearly he
balls
does,
on
David.
the
Clearly he
a
does.
lot.
Can I just say, whoever wrote this program today, Brenko Lee hamstring. Who gives a shit about that? Tell her.
I don't. Yeah, I
I'll
don't.
talk
I think we need to speak to the producers and like Brenko Lee hamstring.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck.
No, I don't think
Nah.
so.
But,
But with the Broncos, that's 2 significant losses in 2 weeks.
yeah, Brenko Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they've lost 53-6 against Para, 60-12 against the Storm. You know, it was Reynolds 250th. Obviously, didn't go as planned. You know, that's crazy for the Broncos. They're obviously or very, very likely to miss the 8 now with Raiders taking over.
Of course.
And we spoke about it last week. Who arrests a winger?
Oh, Selwyn
I
Costa.
don't
Yeah.
understand.
There's something more to that for
It
sure.
has to be. It has to be.
Yeah,
Probably something disciplinary or something. Maybe I
He
don't
might
know.
have been in that Cuban
I didn't get it.
Caleb Ponga.
Yeah,
so-
maybe. Yeah.
Cronulla Sharks defeated the Bulldogs, and this was I don't know, it was a bit of a weird one, 16-0.
Yeah, I didn't expect that
I
score.
actually kind of thought that would be a bit more,
16-0.
more
Yeah.
like it. But that was a bit of a tight one. Rabbitohs defeated Cowboys 20-10. Dragons, this one hurt a bit. Dragons defeated the Tigers at 24-22 in a just a full of error sort of game.
That was a nice game, David.
Well, Lomax, he's something special as well for me. I think every single year he's
There was a
getting.
bit of controversy in that game as well towards the end.
Which one? Which part?
St. George game.
Oh, not really. Not really. It's just it's one of the. It's a typical Tigers loss. I'm fucking
Well,
over it.
they called the penalty on full time, which wasn't a penalty if you ask me. The Topola, the centre.
Yeah, but it's Sam. You can always bring it always to one point, but the point is with the Tigers, they can't. There's no consistency one bit. It's errors after errors. They had them on the line. They took Dragons took a drop kick. They didn't even make the 10. And then fucking what's his name? Kapoa is standing in the 10-meter in the 10-meter line just before the 10-meter line hits with his foot, gets a penalty after
very
penalty. They score.
stupid thing.
It's a silly. Anyway, that was a dud game. I don't want to talk about that one. Titans defeated Knights 36-26. That was
That was a beautiful game to watch.
it was a good game to watch actually. I enjoyed it a
I think
bit. but-
everyone in Sydney hit a multi on that ticket. Everyone
yeah,
scored.
yeah. I needed Brian.
beautiful.
I needed Brian Kelly for $2,000, but
And he got sent off.
then he got sent off for a speed tackle. But what's new with that shit anyway? It's kind of doing my heading with it. But anyway, let's talk about, before we get into some news, we want to talk about, we put the multi on last week to support the Beyond Blue Foundation in memory of Paul Green. However, the multi didn't hit. We were way off. We've got like 1 out of the 4 legs. So what we are going to do this week is something different. When we are going to do the multi a bit later on in the show, we're going to put the multi on, but whether we hit or we lose, we're still going to contribute some sort of money back to the charity so we can give them something, Sam. So the $25, we're going to put up 100. We get it. We don't. They'll still get $100.
Beautiful.
I
That's a
think,
great idea.
I think that's, at least we're giving something back. I think, we don't want these charities sitting there and just hoping that we hit the multi. Let's give them something there.
It's worth it, Dave. We're driving R8s and that these
Let's,
days.
let's talk about some of the hot topics in the NRL and the encyclopedia himself. G, please start me off.
Well, the first thing I'd like to talk about, Dave, considering this is the NRL 180 draft show, is the NRL draft grand final this week. And good luck to everyone out there that's competing in the grand final. We got Lick My Penasini versus I Can't See Cleary. Myself as you, David.
Yeah, exactly right. Look, if you don't know what's going on at the moment, it is a grand final for everyone in the draft competitions out there in Australia. It is me and Anthony in the grand final. It's going to be an absolute cracker. I'm looking forward to it. Just watch your back. That's all you got.
I have a feeling this week friendships will be tested.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Look, I've never been in this position before. I am nervous. Don't know what to do. You look at the screen. It's only me and him. Everyone else is out. But
To be honest,
Pressure's on.
3 weeks ago it was $100 to 1 to even make it.
Yeah, I wish there was a market out there.
Yeah.
Well,
There is a
hopefully-
market on Sportsbet. Will David Suka lick his Penasini? It's about $2.20 to 1. Though.
Yeah, well.
Cameron Serraldo giving Josh Reynolds the green light to return to Belmore. Why the fuck is this in the program?
I'm very excited about that.
You're excited about
I'm
that?
very excited
Are you
about
seriously excited
Not
about
only-
that?
We spoke about it a couple of weeks
The
ago.
guy's a
about-
dud.
regardless, he's done. He's good for the club. He's good for the players. He's a good motivator. He comes on the field, he changes the whole game. Whether he doesn't have to do anything, his motivation changes the whole game. He's like another Josh Adokar. I'm very excited. Will he play? I don't know, but I'm very excited about it.
I don't think he plays.
Probably
I
not.
don't think he plays. Look, I think that's why they're sort of starting off with the trial contract,
$1,000
$1,000
a week. Yeah.
you've got nothing to lose, right? If he doesn't, if he doesn't perform or he's not up to Serraldo's standards, then they just hook him or they give him a role within the club. If he does, I mean, it works for us. You remember when Josh Reynolds started? What was he so good at? Coming off the bench, that utility role,
Changing the
breaking the line
Yeah,
when the
yeah,
forwards were tired. So
But that was a long time ago.
it
How
was
old is he now?
100%.
How old
Yeah,
is
yeah.
he now? 30s?
33,
Oh, he
I
would
think
be.
it is.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah. See, David Riccio from the Daily Telegraph believes Josh Reynolds will have the same sort of impact on the Bulldogs that Benji had on the Tigers in his last year Benji had on the Tigers in his last year at the Rabbitohs.
Just like a motivational.
Yeah, a bit of a motivation, bit of a feeling, can jump on, play hooker, play that sort of rotating lock role.
I think he'll get some game time. I really think I think he'll get game time. They're bringing the Prince back to Belmore. That's what everyone's talking about.
But then the
Fans
thing
are
is
loving
as
it.
well, you've got a coach that's coming in. He's trying to, he's trying to draw his team. If Reynolds does start, yes, it's obviously only because if he's good or not. But is it to the detriment of someone else? A young guy, someone that's coming in. Marnie's coming to play 80 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unless he comes in, he plays that Connor Watson style, lock roaming forward. Maybe.
I think if anything, he'll be
But-
playing that role.
But we'll see.
I think on $1,000 a week, it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's what he's on. He's on a training trial
Yeah.
contract for
Yeah.
3 months. If the Dogs do decide that he is worth it, they will then offer
I
him a
don't think
full-time
he's doing it
contract.
for the money either. I don't
Nah.
think he's there for the money.
He wants to be part of
He wants to be part of Belmore again,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good on him.
He's born and bred.
Roosters and Rabbitohs christening the new Allianz Stadium.
Allianz
I mean, look, let's be honest. Replica, absolute replica of the Emirates Stadium.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Well, hence the confusion, I think, when you mention the name. For all the loyal taxpayers in the country, they spent $800 million on this stadium.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, that's pretty great. We never really had a sort of decision in it. But what's actually quite interesting, David, is it appears that Mr. Nick Politis obviously has a lot of influence. He's not allowing the Rabbitohs to step foot on that stadium until game day. Whereas they want to actually come on and test the ground and whatnot and see how it's like, but he's not allowing them to step foot on the field, which will add to this 112-year rivalry.
Oh, well.
Money talks.
Can I just add, you're talking about the stadium, right? This just we're moving a bit off topic here, but I definitely want to touch on it. Is they've knocked down the stadium only to rebuild it. Yes, it's new, to rebuild it with the same capacity, if not 1,000 or 2,000 extra people.
Unbelievable.
How does that make sense?
$800 million.
How does that make sense? How do you knock down a stadium, rebuild it at the same capacity? You want to bring more people to the game. You look at the other suburban grounds that need to be adjusted.
But is it better? Like, is it going to be sort of
The
like
facilities are
compact?
better, yes,
There's probably cushion on the
but
seats.
yeah,
Look, Sam, honestly, 800 million, how many units would that get you?
Mate, don't worry about the units that can fix the potholes in Condell Park. Fuck me dead.
Oh, no, it's a lot of money, but look, let's see if it's well worth it. I'll be heading out there hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We'll see how we go. Jersey Day Friday, great cause. School and workplaces across Australia wear their favourite sporting jersey and begin the conversation about the importance of becoming an organ donor. Anthony.
Well, I know you're doing it at your business, David.
I am.
think it's very important. My workplace is doing the same thing.
100%.
It just starts the conversation about being an organ donor and whatnot. And yeah, it's definitely a good initiative.
Yeah, and that's something I think is we're not very aware of in this country in Australia. Organ donor, like you look at it and you go, you want to be an organ donor, you freak out. No. I mean, you're dead, mate. Like
You're brown bread.
you're gone to the dust, and you can actually help someone with heart disease, lung disease, kidneys. There's so many things that come good out of it.
Look,
So
it is a
hopefully-
great cause. El Joker Bankstown Morphers gets behind it every year. So
no, good on you guys. Good on
Very
you. The Storm recruitment drive. Ev, let's talk about that a bit.
Yeah, well, the Storms, as usual, up to their old tricks, signing players cheap. Dean Aramia, George Jennings, Jaden Nikarima, Grant Anderson, Marion Seve. Not necessarily the biggest names, but it allows them to sign players like your Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant, Pappenhausen. And like I said last week, they are really closing in on that deal with Cameron Munster. It's getting closer and closer. It's getting the value up. It was nowhere near close to $1 million, but it's getting close to $1 million. I think he might still go. I really do. He might get offered 1.3
Who knows?
million, 1.4. Who knows what he's going to get elsewhere?
The guy's hot. He knows he's hot.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever movie does next, I think he'll blow up.
he's worth every cent.
But this is the biggest news. And again, we got to talk to the director. Aidan Tolman has announced his retirement.
That's fantastic news.
what's he made 100 meters in his career?
Nah, he was our fourth player option.
Oh jeez.
So he's played
Every fourth tackle.
He's played his 315th game. Well done, Tolman, but I think you should have retired 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think so. Andrew Fafita,
Yeah.
playing his final game at Shark at their home ground on Saturday against the Bulldogs. You know, he's known for that one try that he did in the grand final, really lifted his team to win it. But I mean,
He's also known for running sideways for 30
yeah,
years.
yeah, pretty much. But I think he's probably in the same sort of category. Not look when he in his prime, I think he was,
He was brilliant.
unbelievable. And in the draft, you remember how good he was in the draft.
Yeah, I
Anthony,
was just gonna say, like, look, if we look back 3-4 years ago, I think he was the best forward in the world.
By far, yeah.
You know,
Origin, we remember the stuff he did in Origin
Yeah.
and whatnot. He carried our forwards. They were petrified of
But I think coming towards the back end of his career, some of these players should really consider and say, you know what, like, yes, you might have a couple of years in you, but how effective are those couple of years, and what sort of legacy are you keeping behind?
Yeah, like Wayne Bennett says, it's better to retire a year earlier.
Yeah.
Look, the next person I'll talk about, my daughters actually absolutely love him, Brian To'o. I know it's a gimmicky news. It's not as important. He bought a house for his parents.
I think that's the most beautiful thing we're talking about.
It's
David.
you know, to see an NRL player like that come out and look, he didn't have, you know, the riches of upbringings. You know, he far from. And to see a footballer go out there and do that for his parents, it's just beautiful to see. It's heartwarming, man. Okay, Xavier Savage re-signs until 2025. Who gives a shit? I really don't like him, to be honest. And I don't think the players like him either. I think there's...
Did they tell you?
Huh?
Did they tell you?
Got a feeling.
I like him in my draft comp.
Eh?
I like him in the fantasy comp. I think he's a machine.
He's a bit inconsistent. He's up and down. He's up and down, let's be honest.
This next one's a good signing, David.
Amon,
Yeah.
contract extension until 2024. Why? Because you got a
He's
hat trick and a double?
He's been very under the radar, but he's a great
No,
player.
he's good. He's all right.
Great player.
Look, but he can only play for me with somebody like Ben Hunt. You put him in with somebody that's a bit less experienced, I think.
But
he'll
he is inexperienced.
And that's a great segue as well. What's happening with Ben Hunt?
Coming up with Bulldogs, not here, but
Ooh.
It's a couple of cups after
he
him.
will honestly, like, he flies. For me, he fucking destroyed the Tigers with his
him.
kicks.
I love
He just kept putting.
Very good player.
His kicks are unbelievable. He's just and you know what else, and we speak about it a lot with NRL players actually, you know, having that passion of winning or losing. Because you know what I can't stand? I fucking can't stand when players get belted or lose and then they're laughing and they're shaking hands. Walk off, mate. Put your head down and walk off. Because it's not under sixes. You should be ashamed of yourselves. If you lose, it's not a happy feeling, mate. Walk off. Ben Hunt's one of them. He's one of those guys that gets really competitive and gets really shitty when he loses, and so he should be.
Well, just to mention, David, sorry to interrupt you.
That's all right.
Ben Hunt's actually leading the Dally M count this year. So he's favourite to take out the Dally M.
I hope he does, man. Hope he does. And a good guy he is as well, man. Kieran Foran, 2-year deals with the Titans. He should be explosive.
Yeah. I think it's a bad signing.
Yeah, I think so, bro. Being sarcastic, of course.
Yeah.
okay.
I think he had a good season this year, though.
Yeah. Under
I think he had I think he had a good season. He was solid.
Look, he's always been solid.
Yeah, but he was injury free as well.
Yeah.
If you ask me, he should be playing for Bankstown Nursing Home.
Well, better than
Time
what the
to
Titans
retire.
have, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Martin Tapel.
Sorry.
Do you want to spend more time in the video?
Just quickly, you just said better than the Titans have.
The halves.
Your little golden boy, you haven't stopped talking about for 2 weeks.
Tanner
Sexton.
Boyd.
Oh, he's
Oh, what?
he's a hooker playing in the halves.
Mate, he got me 61 points. That's good enough. Okay? 61 points to get me over cash money.
You know what? The Titans do need a bit of experience. That's what
Yeah,
I'd say.
I think so. I think, look. In all honesty, Kieran, I love you. I didn't mean it like that. You will bring a lot of experience to the club, but you are kind of pushing a bit now. A couple of more years, I think that'll be over for you, mate. Martin Tapel hasn't signed with anyone for 2023. Is he worth thinking about? How much money do you pay for Marty?
Definitely not what he's on at the moment.
What's he on at the
I'll
moment?
tell you that much. Oh, he's I think 800 plus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
You got to cut that in half,
So,
surely. Cut that in
yeah,
half.
definitely. Mate, he plays 35 to 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You know, he's still got the old offload in him, but is he, you know, stacking up against other front rowers? Is he that good?
What's with these forwards all on big money?
It was his previous contract, and he was good though. In fairness to him,
Is that
he
another
was
Des
probably
Hasler special?
Tony Williams.
Like Luke Thompson being on 850, Pangai Jr. 925. I think it's out of this world. Like,
Yeah.
what's Matt Burton
Guys,
going to be on?
on the Pangai topic, Pangai is worth every cent. He's played half the amount of games that any of our forwards have played. He's got more offloads than any of our forwards. He's got more run meters than any of our forwards. He's worth every cent.
I think we've played him in the wrong. Look, we can talk about Canterbury, but
Playing
I
the
think
wrong way.
in the wrong position. You can't play him. He hasn't got a big motor.
Yeah.
So you can't play him
He's got to play on the edge, like
as
kick
a
out.
lock. Exactly.
Yeah.
When he played for Brisbane last year, he was killing it.
Yeah, but imagine next year him on the outside left and then kick out on the outside.
Yeah. Well, he can only play 80 on the edge. You know, so
You can play with 80 anytime, but,
But I think honestly, I think Pangai on the edges,
oh,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Is he
unstoppable.
still worth 920, guys?
I think he is.
920 is a
Yeah.
lot of money,
I
mate.
think next season you'll know.
Yeah, exactly.
Next
You'll
season
know.
you'll know.
You'll know. So, how much did you want to pay for Marty? Did anybody want to think about
It's
that?
got to be around the 250 mark for me.
Yeah.
I think see you later. Maybe.
Who do you think needs him? Who do you think would be a good injection?
Parramatta, who he was supposed to go to before the deadline.
Yeah.
I reckon
They
maybe
could
Liv
do with
Golf.
another forward.
Hey,
He might be good at live golf.
What about the Dolphins?
bro, I'm telling you. I know they're fresh. And people going, oh, they need a few more sort of years. No. I think their first year, they're making the 8, mate. Guaranteed.
It's a big
They,
call.
they got, like, yes, they go on paper. Yeah, on paper, they are dangerous. They have got some really, look, I'm a big fan. Not like in that way, but I feel like they're gonna do really, really well. You know what I got the shits about? This Walters guy, this Kevin Walters guy. What the fuck did the Ezra Mam do? The guy's been playing solid football. Did he have that much of a... Adam Reynolds gets injured. He's carrying the whole side, and he didn't have that much of a bad game. But you can't expect him to carry the whole fucking side. And then he goes, dumps him, and gets Tyson Gamble back.
Yeah, I think he just had to make some sort of call. It might have been a bit harsh on Ezra, but they got pumped the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
He's got to make a change. He's got to do something. Tyson Gamble does bring a little bit more of that control and
He brings
leadership and whatnot.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
Well,
he's gotta be
I
the
don't
worst
think
player
so,
in
bro.
the NRL.
I think he's a grub.
Yeah.
And he might have that one-off good game that he does, but I think he's a spastic,
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
honest.
so too.
Well,
Sorry, Tyson, but honestly, you got to step it up a bit.
Yeah.
But Ezra Mam has shown nothing but good stuff there.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you want to have a shot at making the 8, you need that finesse, that agility on the fucking on
Look,
his
to
side
me-
to make it happen.
To me, they're taking a big gamble by putting Gamble.
Yeah, I
inside.
think so.
That's what I'd say.
I rate Ezra Mam as a great player.
Me too. But look, now they're talking about Tyson Gamble going to Newcastle.
Yeah,
and-
going to
and-
Newcastle. Well, I just think Newcastle in all sorts. They're obviously trying to sort of control their salary cap and get a half that's not so expensive. They were talking about Luke Brooks and whatnot. But Luke Brooks, whoever takes Luke Brooks is going to have to pay a certain amount of his salary. Tigers are going to have to pay the rest of it. It's a bit of a gamble. Hasn't played finals footy in his 11-year career.
Wow.
Yeah,
So how do
so...
you demand that money?
Oh, they were calling him the next Andrew Johns when he first started. I thought it was overkill. I still think it's overkill.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Our rivalry code, I should say, rugby. Looking at hitting up some of our top players, Cameron Murray. Is it Swali or Swaley? How do you pronounce? They've been saying it.
I think it's
Different.
Dwayne.
Dewey.
Joseph Dwayne.
No, but honestly, what is it? Is it Swahili?
Yeah.
Swahili or Swahili?
Your
Wh-
second-
Whatever it is, I'm gonna say one thing.
You're very good at names, by the way.
Whatever. He is beautiful, man. I think for me, sorry to cut you off, Em. Number 1 winger in our game. Sorry.
How do the Rabbitohs let him go?
I have no idea.
Honestly.
Big talking
So,
point
you know, the Rabbitohs invested so much money because obviously they had him.
from 15.
Yeah.
He's only 18.
And they let him walk to their rivals. And look at him now. I want to say something about this as well. So this is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
$10 million deal. He's not, you know, what does he do? What do you do if you're in that position?
I think you take the money, you go, but then you'd have to think after that 5-year deal.
Yeah, but it's
you
not-
sort of
But it's 10
not a-
million for 5 years.
yeah, so 2 million.
Oh, I would have packed my bag yesterday.
Yeah, but hold on, but it's not just about the money. Sorry, well, I have to say this. I love our sport, but you know, it's not like you're going to a dud code. You're going to a code that has got, I think, a more of a, you know, more international sort of platform. If you want to really get yourself out there and like a challenge, like if you were going to the Super League and paying you that much, you'd reconsider. You go, I wouldn't want to go to a shit league and take that money, or rather play with in a good league. But you're not playing in a shit league, mate. You're playing international. So I think it's
That's
hard
a
for
lot of money.
Yeah.
It is a lot of
and
money.
you know the good thing about it, he can take it, travel the world, do what he has to do at his age, come back, be in the
Still
prime of his career.
Exactly.
But we've
Exactly.
lost a lot of stars to rugby union. I personally hate rugby union. I think it's a dying sport. We only watch the international games. You know, we watch NRL week in, week out.
Yeah, it's a rich man's rugby league.
It is.
But that's the issue.
Yeah.
How does the NRL afford to pay players that much?
can't.
You can't.
They can't.
You know?
Yeah, we probably need investors to come and buy every club and raise this cap, make it interesting.
Is there something in the club that can turn around and say, look, if you are going to sign with us, or if you are, even before you even get signed up to the NRL sort of, family, that you have to commit a certain amount of years before you even look at going to any other code? Or better yet, say, if you decide to go to another code, you can't come back, to give them an ultimatum, because you've had you've had players go to the NFL and then come back, and like
You get
Holmes,
double the
Payne,
contract.
I don't know. Let's talk about round 24, team of the week.
Sorry, Dave, before we
Oh,
get into that,
okay.
there was something I saw today on social media. Not sure if everyone saw it. Did anyone see the Kolomatangi fight?
No.
No?
Collar, he's my
Yeah.
boy.
With Hezbollah.
He's my boy.
Big fight with Hezbollah
Oh, wow.
in the sheds.
Who won?
Hezbollah's
Hezbollah's got a
better
mean
of
right
him.
hook.
Yeah, Hezbollah got the better of him.
So who are we talking about here?
Kolomatangi and Hezbollah, you know that little Hezbollah?
The little Russian,
The, so
the
I'm-
little famous one that's got that
oh yes, him, yeah.
He knocked out Kolomatangi today.
Shut
Left
up.
hook, right hook, Kolomatangi gone.
God, anyway. Poor Colin, man. I love him, man. Let's talk about round 24, team of the week. We're going to start off first off the ranks. Clinton Gutherson, 94 points. What an absolute blunder he had. Adam Dwayne, 86 points. Dane Gagai, 89 points. Stephen Crichton, 76. AJ Brimson, 71. Jerome Hughes, back to his best, 72 points. Jamal Fogarty being very consistent for you, Amph, 71 points. And my boy, I just picked him up, Tom Freeban, 70 points with a double. And again, Tanner Boyd, your favourite boy, 61 points. Tino, 77 points, don't bother with his last name. Jaden Sewer, 78 points. Sean Lane, get out of his lane at 75 points. Isaiah Hafalili, 76 points. Sebastian Christian, 71. Sullivan proving some real good footy. And by the way, I've always talked about him, and he's gone to Dolphins as well, huh?
Yeah,
So,
that's a good signing.
come on, man. The guy, how do you overlook a halfback like him? Because I love his style. David Clemens, 65. Brian Torres, 65. And Greg Marzo had an absolute cracker as well at 65 points. And
That's 18 players over 65
Yeah, it's
points.
yeah,
crazy.
it was a big week. It's a big week. And look, and on that note, we're going to get into the injuries. We're going to get a few things done. And who else than to turn to our boy Ken? Okay, guys, here it is. Keeping up with Ken.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Keeping Up with Ken. A lot to get through this week. We'll start with we'll keep it to the important stuff, I think, this week. We'll start off with the Para and Melbourne game. Para unchanged. The Storm welcome back Felix Kafusi. He'll come straight back into the second row. Josh King has been named at lock, with Brandon Smith moving to the bench. Roosters and the Rabbits, a couple of big outs for the Roosters, with Victor Radley, Daniel Tupou and Lindsay Collins all missing this week. Their spots will be taken by Takiaho, Mamarovsky and Fletcher Baker. South Sydney, guys, Damien Cook will not return from COVID as he missed last week. Another week on the sidelines, which was guessed. I think, they will rest him, I think, this week. They're not going to rush him back. Talking about resting players, I do believe, guys, Latrell Mitchell will be rested this week. So, guys, just keep an eye on late changes. And Campbell Graham also ruled out this week. Big surprise at the Brisbane Broncos, guys. Kevy Walters has dropped the young, fast, energetic Ezra Mam. He'll be replaced by Tyson Gamble. Flegler and Selwyn Cobbo return to the side and they will play. In other news, guys, Penrith Panthers basically fielding their New South Wales Cup team this week. Ivan Cleary has decided to rest 11 players, practically with Nathan Cleary suspended. That's pretty much their starting side. Will be rested this week. And yeah, like I said, he will field the New South Wales Cup side. North Queensland Cowboys, guys, Tom Dearden's been named on the extended bench, so expect him to come into the starting lineup, pushing Habasal Fidel back to the bench. And last but not least, guys, the Canberra Raiders welcome back Nick Kotrick from a groin injury. He'll take his place up on the wing. Guys, before I go, just want to say a very big congratulations to I can't see Cleary and Lick My Penasini. I'm making the grand final for the draft this year. Dave, I can't see Cleary. Knocked out Cashmani. Very, very disappointing. And Lick My Penasini, mate. He didn't just lick it. He made Dressic 94 suck it, I think. That was a great game. Came down to the wire. And Lick My Penasini got the goods. Good luck, guys. Enjoy what I like to call the silly round of rugby league, this last round. Keep an eye on your changes. Keep an eye on your last minute teams, because there will be changes this week, guys. Thank you and good luck. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Kenny. And I do agree it is a silly round, but in saying that, is it really silly, Enf?
Well, there are some teams competing for the 4, competing for the 8, top 2. So, no, yeah, for some teams it is. For Penrith it is, definitely. They're resting 11 players. So, yeah, I think
11
Yeah.
players.
11 players.
What do you think
whole
about that?
team.
What do you think, Sam?
I think that's stupid.
Why?
Dave,
Why?
you're professional NRL players. I think resting is a stupid
Yeah, but hold
idea.
on. Okay, they've won the minor premiership. Okay, why would you risk your players out to get injured?
You're taking a week off a game.
and
You're losing that vibe. You're losing that aggressiveness. You're losing that part of that game.
yeah, but
Look, Dave, let me tell you something. I train every week at the gym, as you can tell. I don't take a week off.
yeah, hold on. It's a bit different. It's a physical sport. These guys, if they recover well, they feel better. It's fitness. What doesn't count for nothing?
Yeah, footy.
We can't talk about all mental.
I agree with you, but I disagree with you on the Penrith standpoint. I think Penrith is probably the only team, them and Melbourne are the only 2 teams in the competition that can afford to rest players because they play within a structure. If you notice this year, especially in the last couple of weeks, they haven't had their halves, right? Those 2 players come in, it's seamless. Do you notice a difference?
It's an oiled machine.
I actually agree with everything Anthony just said.
So-
I think it's a master stroke by Penrith, and I think this move will result in them winning the comp.
Yeah, watch them get knocked out first.
They can't get a second chance.
They will.
Second
They will.
week.
Okay, but let's talk about some crackers here. Some games to be honest, I'm just going to dismiss because they're a waste of time. Parramatta Storm fighting for the top 8. This one's big. This one's big.
David.
Top 4, sorry. Top 4. Parramatta at $2 Storm at $1.80. Heavyweight showdown. What do you think, Ev?
Well, both teams are on 32 points. I think Para playing at home, usually a sold-out stadium. The crowd will get behind them. I think Para win this game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? This $1.80 for Storm is the biggest special I have ever seen in my entire life. Okay, I think they're going to absolutely annihilate them, especially after losing like that to the Roosters. You don't understand what the Roosters did to defend their line like that. What you were mentioning before, they played their fucking heart out.
It was a war zone.
Okay, Parramatta don't have that. Okay, I'm sorry, they just don't have that. When you have Parramatta, your 10-meter Storm.
Excuse that one. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
You got it in my mouth. Storm for me on that one. I reckon they'll push through. I reckon they'll push through and get the top 4. Bulldogs versus Manly, absolutely insignificant game there. Roosters versus Rabbitohs. Barbs.
Roosters. I think the Roosters win. Rabbitohs have got a couple of players out. You've got Damien Cook. I think Latrell's gone as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Rested?
They've named him, but yeah, speculation.
Yeah,
that
so
he might
Campbell
play.
Graham, Damien Cook out, Roosters win.
Oh, wow.
First game, Allianz.
I personally think Roosters taking out the competition.
Strong.
Wow.
I do.
Strong team. Hot side at the moment. Warriors versus Titans. Who cares? Yep.
That's the most irrelevant
Yep, we'll
conversation.
move on from that one. Dragons, Broncos. Again, this is look. The next 2 games you have the Raiders and the Tigers, Broncos and the Dragons. Those 2 games for me are going to be the 2 games of the round to make the top 8. Rick is confident. He's coming off a couple of wins. A bit of momentum there. Broncos, like we said before, resting Ezra Mann, bringing in Gamble, doing all this sporadic stuff to get the win. I don't know. How do you see it coming down?
Look, I think they both win, but I think the Raiders obviously make the 8. I think that the point difference, if you take them both into account, is about 40 points, and that's only if the Raiders
So
lose.
what needs to happen?
So basically, for Brisbane to win, Raiders need to lose,
Yep.
or they can win, but they need to outscore each other. But it's
very
impossible. It's got to be like a 70-0.
So
victory,
Broncos win, and
So if both they
win.
both win,
yeah, who goes through?
whoever scores more points. But
But the Raiders are ahead by 40 points.
Yeah,
Sam.
they are.
So pretty much Raiders go through if they both win. Pretty much.
Pretty
It's
much.
very, very difficult for the Broncos to make it. At the
Unless
moment.
the Raiders lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Right.
we'll
But
talk-
the Raiders are versing the Tigers,
They were
guys.
talking Brisbane. a
You
top
never
four
know.
side.
Yeah, you know.
Palmer's last game, you know the Tigers can surprise. The Tigers can. I mean, they've won like
Yeah.
4 games all year.
Same
You know?
thought, there's-
It
you
could
know
be
what?
fun.
in-
I think they've been surprising us for the last century. To be honest, David.
It's true, man.
Tigers,
You know what's surprising? They used to come in ninth. Now they come last. They wouldn't. split.
That's disgusting.
surprising.
That's
But yeah,
disgusting.
In saying that, have
That's
Brisbane
disgusting
shot
to
themselves in the foot by losing to the last
100%. 100%. They should have won at least one of them.
Let's just
So
say
they
that
probably don't deserve to be there anymore.
I don't think so.
Let's
I
just
think
say they took a gamble, and that gamble's not going to pay off.
finished. Cowboys and Panthers. Panthers again resting their players. You disagree with it. I agree with it. They're blown up to 550. But do you think with Ivan's sort of strategy and the way he kind of
He's a mastermind.
you reckon they can still win? You reckon do you reckon somehow?
They're versing the reserve grade team. I don't think so.
I think
They've
if,
pretty much handed it to the Cowboys.
I think if it was in Penrith potentially, but
And that-
up in North Queensland.
And that's one thing I disagree with because you're
unfair play.
you're giving them the win. You're giving them the second spot.
Yeah.
You know, I think at least give them a bit of a run. Rest a couple of players, couple of the big boys.
Yeah.
But I think yeah, that's probably not on for me.
And even in saying that, David, Thomas Dearden has returned from a ruptured testicle, and so Cowboys are really going for it. You know, they don't have to risk him. They
He's
can sort-
playing?
Yeah, with a ruptured testicle.
Ruptured or one testicle?
We ruptured one.
Ruptured.
testicle,
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
He must have got a little massage and
Yeah.
made it feel a bit better.
Yeah, well,
Massage.
there's a few therapeutical things
Yeah.
you can do there.
Yeah, I do it every time. To be honest.
They reckon that steam room does wonders.
All right, well, look, jump to play for the cause. What do you think?
Yes, David.
Yep,
let's
we'll
do
go.
it.
Yep, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Last week, like I mentioned to you guys, we played for Beyond Blue. We put a multi on. It didn't hit. Unfortunately, we only got 1 out of the 4 legs. But this round, we're always trying to get better at this show. We love the feedback. Give us your feedback anytime. We try to make these little small changes. But look, regardless of when the multi hits or not, we are going to give $100 to the allocated charity. And today's charity is Save Our Sons. We're going to give away, if the multi hits or not, money's going to go to Save Our Sons. It's a great local cause. I know the founder personally. He's a great guy. Lee, you know him as well, don't you, Sam?
Yep.
Great cause. They're doing some wonderful things out there, and we're going to show our support, and we're going to put a 4-legger multi on
Yeah,
and
let's
see
go, boys.
and see how we go. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to just get a very, very simple $1.80 odd. I'm going to go for Melbourne
You
Storm on
like
the head.
Melbourne, don't you, David?
I'm going to go for Melbourne Storm on the head. I think it's an absolute special. I think it's an inflated price. I think they got it wrong. And I think when TAB and Sportsbet watch this show, they're going to realise that they fucked up. So $1.80, I'm going for that.
Hopefully, it's gone to a good cause.
Barbs, what are you thinking?
$1.80. Another similar matchup. I'm taking the Roosters at
On the
$1.80. Yeah.
Are they $1.80 as well?
Yeah, they are.
Wow.
I think I think that's a
Mate, we're
number.
looking at a good multi here, boys.
We are.
I'll jump in here, guys. I'm just going to go for the safe bet. In my opinion, I'm going to go North Queensland Cowboys 13 plus at $1.50.
Oh,
That's
that's
good odds too.
oh.
Very
I think
nice.
that's
North
the biggest
Queensland
special.
13 plus,
And we're looking for that special leg from you, Sam.
and you're going to get one. And it's something I do back every week. I think I only had Nico Hines for a try.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it's
I
been
like
good
that.
for me.
I like that. Where does that bring us up
Can we get
to?
an odd on that, please?
Absolutely.
And of course, boost it for us.
All right, guys. Nico Hines is paying $2.65 in
Okay.
total.
Stop for 1 second. What do you think the odd is, F?
I'm going to go $11.
$8.50.
Oh, I'm thinking at least $16.
No.
Well, it was $12. Powered up, we're at $14.
Nice.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Nice. Okay, so
$16.
$16 pound.
$14.55.
$14.55.
Done. We're going to put $100 on this multi. Recap the multi. Roosters on the head. Melbourne on the head. North Queensland 13 plus. Into Nico Hines to score a try at $14.55. We're laying down 100. The boys here are contributing $25 each. We were contributing $50 just in case it does lose, but we are going to contribute $25. put on the multi to win $1,455 donated to Save Our Sons.
Beautiful. Let's hope it goes
Awesome.
through
Beautiful. Sam, anything else? You had something else. You had that
there.
the campaign.
Last week we actually we put it out there to our listeners and the people that watch, and we asked them for. We've got obviously Anthony, our group, who's got Lick My Penasini. It's one of the ultimate names in the
Yeah, I think
in
so.
the competition.
It is.
And believe it or not, David got an email with someone that's reached out to us. His name's Lucas. Lucas plays for his comp is called Up Cronulla, and he came up with a name which was I think was brilliant. We were expecting a few different names, but we only came up with the one. So, Lucas, obviously, thank you for sending it through. Ev, can you please tell us what the name was? I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, obviously I'll echo what Sam says. So Lucas' team name was Is Your Turpin Dirty? Well done, Lucas, wherever you are, mate.
I think that's beautiful. Lucas, thank you very much.
Thank
Hope
you,
you
Lucas.
get to clean your
Keep
turpin.
them coming in. And on that note, we want to keep on doing these shows. We love it. We want to make sure we want to try to spread the word as much as we can. Share it, send it to your friends. Let's try to get the views up. Let's try to keep it up. I enjoy doing it. What do you think,
No, I
Sam?
love it.
Yeah, you
No, I
love it.
love it.
You love it, Amph?
It's awesome, mate.
Yeah. So share it, love it, we love it, and I think coming into the finals, again, I'm getting excited a bit because it's going to be an absolute fucking
Dave, on
cracker.
that topic, since it has become a regular thing, I believe we've signed our two.
We have. Congratulations to Anthony Georges, who definitely is a permanent member of the NRL Draft Show, and our new recruit in Anthony Barbarian. Thank you very much. Look, Man United, not he, mate. Okay, it's the wrong sort of code, brother. But look, we do have this is the 4. I hope you enjoyed the show, loved it, and I hope you guys loved it. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.